right, number 3. The Six Nations, Scotland upsetting Ireland. From the bat to the finish, they just dominated, man. Taking the victory.
I think dominate's the wrong word.
No. I mean, I like the Scottish, man. I have to talk them up a bit because they've had it rough for a long time, and they're showing flames recently.
I think Scotland has improved a lot. I think Ireland let themselves down yesterday. They had a dominant scrum.
Yeah, extremely dominant scrum.
And I feel like they wasted opportunities. They let Scotland get a lead early on, and they couldn't come back there in the second half. I mean, I give props to Scotland. I think they played really well. But I feel like Ireland might regret this loss if they were thinking of competing to win the Six Nations.
Yeah.
Because although Scotland did well, I don't think they've got the depth and the ability to win the Six Nations yet. They could win a few more games, I think they will, but I don't think they're going to win the Six Nations. And Ireland, I thought before the game, I thought they were definitely one of the favourites, other than England, obviously, to win.
I think the thing I must say about the Six Nations is it does feel like most of the teams can beat each other, which doesn't happen down here.
No.
So you could find that, I mean, even Italy's improving dramatically with a very young team. So I find like Scotland's been coming up for the last few years slowly. So this was coming, but I think Ireland came into it very arrogantly thinking we can take a nice little stroll over this team. And then the problem is that when that happens is when you realize that you're not winning and you're trying to kick into next gear, you just can't do it. And they just kept trying, and Scotland was ready for that. But it is true, there is really no depth in Scottish rugby, and they're always just 1 or 2 injuries away from everything going down there.
That's the difficulty they always have with Six Nations is that they have a couple of injuries and then they really, really struggle. But I do think the quality of the Scottish players has really improved over the last couple of years, and they now have a team that if you look at them on paper as well and you go like, man, that's a solid team they have going there, and they do have the potential to always upset anyone. And they've been doing that more often than not in the last couple of years, which I think is great for Scottish rugby and for the Six Nations and Northern Hemisphere rugby as well. I mean, I think we can all agree that currently the Northern Hemisphere rugby has caught up, and in general,
New Zealand.
but New Zealand is not representative of the entire Southern Hemisphere.
No,
like they are beating more of the Southern Hemisphere teams as of late than what they used
We
to.
can't count lost to South Africa.
Yeah, no, we're not going to talk about that. You know, so.
No, I think a good Scottish team is good for rugby in general. The more teams that get better and are competing at a high level, it's better for global rugby, better for World Cups.
Yeah.
It's just better for the game of rugby. If Scotland improve, if Italy improve, if Japan can continue to improve.
Oh yeah.
Argentina is looking better. I think Argentina, like, I don't know why, like every time I watch Argentina play, I think they're looking better than Springboks and Australia, but then they somehow find a way to lose to those teams every time they play. I know they did beat South Africa last year.
Yeah, they are struggling to come through against Australia though, for some reason. It might just be a mental thing that is still there that they have to overcome.
The weird thing is that was the first win they got in the Rugby Championship, and they just can't seem to win there. But I mean, going back to with the Six Nations, is the biggest thing which I believe is helping the Six Nations team is the fact that they have the under-20 Six Nations, and that continually builds up young players and gets the young players playing in their system with players they're going to play alongside. Because if you have a very small player pool, often the under-20 players will play with each other in the senior team. And these guys have known each other for a couple of years, maybe from under-18 Scotland schools, and they've worked up the system together. And we'll find this young core of this team has probably played together for the last 5 to 6 years. And that's probably what's going to help them in the future. And I know Rugby Nations will never have that down here, but we do, like, that under-20 championship is going to be key to helping the Northern Hemisphere improve and beat all of us in the end. We're seeing slowly, well, not All Blacks.
No, don't see that happening anytime soon.
All Blacks have a very tight system that's just brilliant.
But speaking about the All Blacks and so on, let's move on to topic number 4 for this week. Also another Six Nation one. England holding out against France. And why I brought this up is I actually want to ask the question, now that I think England has got 15 in a row now, and the question is, do you think anyone in the Six Nations can topple England? And do you think that England could actually take that record of New Zealand, possibly when they play New Zealand as well? Do you think England might be up to challenge New Zealand for the number 1 spot.
No, I don't think. Like what I saw yesterday against France, I think they need to improve if they're going to win the Grand Slam in the Six Nations. I think they're a good side. They might break the record, but I don't think they will beat New Zealand in a like when they play them. And I don't think based on the performance yesterday, I don't think they guaranteed the Six Nations, which I thought they were going to do before I watched yesterday's game.
My money's still on England for the Six Nations.
I think it's still the first game of the season. They're warming up. The same thing happened literally last season. They played badly in the first game. And there's a lot of changes that have happened due to big injuries to really important players.
Yeah.
So there is the adaptation period.
I did think that the French was playing really well. And England wasn't looking their best. And that's probably why they struggled a bit. But France was showing that, all right, these guys can be taken down within the Northern Hemisphere already. Yeah, but
I think only Wales will do it. That's it.
I don't know.
I don't think Ireland, after what we saw yesterday, unless something amazing happens the next couple of weeks, I think Wales are the only team that have a real chance of stopping them.
I don't know. Wales don't look that good either. Compared, if you look at last year, I think the reason I think Ireland has a chance against England, even though they lost to Scotland, is this team 3 games ago beat the All Blacks.
Yes.
This is not
Let's
that
not
long
forget
ago.
that.
Like,
Yeah. And then they go and lose against Scotland. Explain that.
I can't actually. I literally can't explain it. I mean, 2 games yesterday, very close, both of them. I think it makes this like I'm excited for the Six Nations because of those 2 games. Like I was expecting an easy win for Ireland and an easy win for England, and that was not the case.
Yeah. That is what we both expected.
Yeah. Hopefully Italy can do something today against Wales, and then it will be really exciting. Yeah,
definitely. All right.
I think Wales will be coming out just to make sure they lay a mark out for everyone else. That's what they've got to do today.
I think they have to. They need to improve a lot from last year. Yeah. I really they were not good enough at the end of the season, even though they beat the Springboks. I mean, but the Springboks were the Springboks last year.
Anyway, they beat Springboks last year. It was a given.
Italy beat the Springboks last year, so based on that,
guys are moving up.
Play Japan again.
Please can we not joke about that too often? It still hurts, damn it.